Have you ever felt like you just don't fit in? Like you're marching to the beat of a different drum while everyone else is in lockstep? Well, you're in good company. Today, we're talking about a man who changed the world, but for a long time, the world just didn't get him. This is the story of Albert Einstein, the genius nobody believed in. Let's rewind to the late 1800s. Little Albert wasn't exactly what you'd call a child prodigy. In fact, he was a late talker. His parents were so worried they even consulted a doctor. When he finally started speaking, he had a quirky habit of whispering everything to himself before saying it out loud. His teachers didn't see much potential either. One famously told his father that it didn't matter what career Albert chose, because he'd never make a success of anything. Can you imagine hearing that? He wasn't a bad student, but he hated the strict, rigid teaching methods. He preferred to learn on his own, daydreaming about riding on a beam of light. While other kids were playing, Albert was building towering card houses and pondering the invisible forces that shape our universe. After graduating, the struggle continued. The man who would later redefine physics couldn't even land a teaching job. He was seen as rebellious, a bit of an oddball who questioned everything. He ended up working a seemingly boring job at a patent office in Bern, Switzerland. But here's where the magic happened. This boring job was actually a blessing in disguise. It gave him time to think. Time to let his mind wander through those cosmic questions that had fascinated him since childhood. He wasn't in a fancy lab. He was just a guy at a desk, looking at other people's inventions. And then 1905 happened. Historians call it Einstein's miracle year. From his humble desk at the patent office, this 26-year-old clerk published 4 groundbreaking papers. Not 1, but 4. These papers introduced the world to concepts like the photoelectric effect, which laid the groundwork for quantum theory and special relativity. And nestled within that special relativity paper was the most famous equation in history, equals mc squared. Energy equals mass times the speed of light squared. It's an idea so simple in its elegance, yet so profound in its implications. It revealed a fundamental secret of the universe, that mass and energy are 2 sides of the same coin. But did the world immediately hail him as a genius? Not quite. It took years for the scientific community to fully grasp the sheer scale of what he had done. His ideas were so radical, so far outside the box, that many of his peers were skeptical. They just couldn't accept that our neat, predictable Newtonian universe wasn't the whole story. It wasn't until his theory of general relativity correctly predicted how starlight would bend around the sun during a 1919 solar eclipse that he was catapulted to global fame. Suddenly, the quirky patent clerk was the most famous scientist on the planet. Einstein's story isn't just about a brilliant mind. It's a powerful lesson for all of us. It's about the courage to be different, to ask questions no one else is asking, and to trust your own curiosity, even when the world tells you you're wrong. He showed us that genius isn't always obvious. Sometimes it's hidden in a quiet daydreamer, a rebellious student, or a humble patent clerk. So if you've ever felt like an outsider, remember Albert Einstein. Your unique perspective, your strange questions, your quiet daydreams that might just be your own brand of genius waiting to be unlocked. Thanks for joining me on this journey into the mind of a true original. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more, and share your thoughts in the comments below. Who's another misunderstood genius we should talk about next? Let me know. See you in the next video.